Alrighty. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are we all doing? Got myself out of my ears feedback wise. Now I can talk normally. Forgiveness for this stream, for the background ambiance. It's raining like crazy outside. I don't know if you can hear it, but if you can, my deepest apologies. I cannot help it. Joe, how you doing? All right, so today I'm feeling like getting a little figurey. So I've got some references. All right, over here in little old Puref. All right, which you can find on my. The rain's nice and cozy. It is a little bit. It is. I do feel quite cozy in here. Where am I looking? Where's my? Here. So we've got my Pinterest. So, Kelbell, how you doing? Gamer, good morning. So that's my normal Pinterest. Pin that Pinterest. And then you'll find these references. I highly recommend, actually, if you are following along, find some references that interest you yourself. Don't have to do just these ones, but check out the stream figure reference. And what was it? The traditional pen and ink boards for these references here. Is the weather cooler today because of the rain? It is a lot cooler. It's quite chilly, in fact. Casey Snow, you can't hear it, but it's also raining here. So, that's all right. It blends in beautifully. Great to have you, Casey. Zach, what's going on? Sharon, welcome back. Great to have you. Hope you're doing well. All right. So while we wait for people to filter in, as they do, Casey and both. Love it. All right. So quick little recap of last week. It was a fun one. I quite like how this little bus van thing turned out. I like that more than this dude. This good stuff, everyone. Well done, team. Alex, it's 2 a.m. in Scotland. Appreciate you, Alex. What are you doing up so early? Or late, depending on how you look at it. Also as well, I've now joined a new club. The Club of the Glasses Wearers. Turns out, I couldn't see for shit. And I didn't even realize it. So now everything is so clear. My art's going to be so much better. Because I can see what I'm doing. But it's weird to get used. Never worn glasses before. But you just don't know what your eyes get used to. What you just put up with. All right. So I reckon. What do you reckon? Timed? Let's do time to begin with, and then we can come through and clean them up later if we want to. So let's do a little 15-minute figure sketches to get us going. Rod Lyon, welcome back. Welcome to the Glasses Club. Glad to. Oh, thank you, Rod. Thank you, Hatchman. Gaspar, hola. Oh yeah, if we can get some Spanish going, teach me some Spanish. Ninio Lajadi 28. It's 2 a.m. in Nigeria. Turns out, Nigeria and Scotland share a time zone. Wouldn't have guessed that. Great to have you. Okay. Let's get ourselves situated. So we've got 50 minutes on the clock. Abel Barron, what's going on? Whoop. Whoop. That might happen throughout. It happens sometimes. I don't know. That's fine. Okay, so we're gonna wait another minute and a half, and we'll just get stuck right into it. So yeah, glasses. They're pretty awesome. I like them. $3M in Spain. Man, you guys got to get some sleep. Well, I'm blue sky. No, I'm not. I'm not. Webcam is not happy. No, it's not. Not enjoying it. All right, I'm itching. I'll tell you what. If I'm honest, I'm itching to get some figure study in. Haven't done it in a little while. Got the heater on. Hold on. Oh, that's a bit better. 1:20 in the afternoon here in New Zealand. Very close. 10:50 a.m. here in Adelaide, South Australia. All right. Let's go. My creativity has been in a sunken place. We'll get it unsunk. You can't be sunk while we're doing this. You got to be floating. All right. 3, 2, 1. Thank you, gamer. Is that play? Yes, that's play. Okay. So what am I thinking over here? I want to get used to that thinking of what I'm looking up at and what I'm looking down at, right? So here, if we're thinking about this particular pose, I'm going to be looking up at the head. So everything's going to... It's not always going to be the case because there's some trickiness if things aren't perfectly tilted or just like people aren't standing perfectly straight up. But we can think about things where you've got this up curve, almost like a cylinder. This is not a lesson. We're just warming up. Why am I going? I just go straight explainer mode. I can't help it. It's just a learned habit. All right, so we're going to be looking up underneath the chin here. Now, I already know this head is too large for where I've put these feet, but we'll just roll with it. All right, I want to throw the torso, or just like an idea of the torso in. Shoulder. Arm. Hand with glove. Waist. Pant leg, pant leg, pant leg, pant leg. Foot, hit the floor. Stabilize it. It's on the floor. Foot in perspective. Back behind the other foot. Oh, I'm going to need to turn the bloody heater off. It's getting hot. It's 4:51 a.m. Someone. You're crazy, man. How do you do it? I hope that's after a good night's sleep though. Could even push these features a little more. Not worried about the features too much because we're doing, this is a figure study. Ear, maybe a little bit back here. You know, got a bit of this happening. Flip it. The leggings / socks remind you of a Tintin. I agree. Alright, trying to keep it simple. No harm in flipping the reference as well. So we can I can't help the faces. I just want to get something in place with the face, you know. So this is very gestural, very loosey-goosey. Loosey-goosey. So we've got both the arms very not clear. So we'll knock it back. Oh, I've got to turn off the heater. Hold on. Oh, okay. Atif Urib, 6:30 a.m. in Pakistan. If everyone just had the same time zone, it would make life so much easier. Adrian, what's going on? All right, so this is a bit of a brain twister. This shoulder. Right, because it's in front of us. Sarah, thank you so much. Thanks for popping in. Lovely to have you. All right, so we want to... This is where it's super, I think, useful to understand why... Get it. I'm gonna for the next 2 minutes, I'm gonna touch the face. To understand what's going on behind the reference underneath. So we can imagine like the rib cage here. Right, little stylized little rib cage. But that's going to have dimension. Right. And that then is going to have the shoulder coming off. Why? It's not a lesson. I've got to... This is a warm-up, Ben. Far out. All of that to say, figuring out what's in front and behind in perspective is a lot easier to do when you understand what you're drawing as opposed to what you're just looking at. If that makes any sense at all. I hope it does. Okay. Simplify. Alright, so you can get the elbow back here. Don't mind a cheeky large forearm. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, I encourage it. Where's my camera gone? There we are. Nah, definitely not going for total accuracy. Joseph, what's going on from LA? Ah, great to have you. First timer. Welcome. Okay, now we got the little bottle there. It doesn't need to be there, but I'll throw it in there anyway, just because it's kind of there already. Pantaloon. Alright, so I'm just trying to refine my thinking a little bit. Keeping it loose still. It's like a loose structured. All right, now all the while, I'm thinking, what's the horizon line? This is kind of like the middle of my horizon line, right? So most of these things are going to be sort of flat or flatter. That makes sense. Whereas here, the shoulder is going to be up, up. We're going to see underneath that chin, the top of the head, the little hat thing. All right, it's all going to be, we're looking upwards at it. Flip it again. Now we need to ground the feet. So we've got this foot that's in front of us, sitting on the ground. Now, if we look at the heels, if we try and connect them up with like a line. Now, again, I'm definitely not going full accuracy with this reference by any stretch of the imagination. But this helps give it that depth, because the quickest way to break like a pose of someone's like standing on the ground is to make both feet be next to each other, because then that kind of change. It's like, okay, what's she doing? Has she got like a foot kind of behind her leg there? Like, what's going on? What line? No, not total accuracy, or for the overall shape and gesture of the overall shape and gesture. What's more important? Does it depend on what stage of the drawing you're at? I think it does depend on the stage. I think. And it depends on the goal as well. This isn't like some super finished kind of thing. I really just want to warm up, if I'm honest. So getting the feel for the shapes, keeping it loose, getting a little bit of structure. And the way that people can get like a loose feeling, but it feels solid, is just the understanding of the larger shapes of what they're drawing. That's really a lot of what it comes down to, you know. Like even the eyes here. You'd be looking up at someone. Now the eyes are tricky when you're looking up at someone's face, because we've always been used to drawing eyes with this lower lid sort of curved underneath, right? But as soon as you start moving that curve and you start looking up at it from underneath, it starts flattening out. Depending on the expression, of course, but I don't like the eye placement. Let's try again. We have infinite redos, which is great. Vicky Draws, how you doing? Greetings from Argentina. You Google Translate English, no worries. Great to have you. So we've got 44 seconds. Let's see if we can sit these eyes somewhere that I like. Probably won't be able to, but that's okay. Nah. Not a fan. It's okay though. Boom, boom, boom. Now, all right, we're out of time on our warm-up timer, but a little note, I guess, here with the hat. All right, first, I want to know what that hat is sitting on, which is her head. All right, then I want it to go back in space and understand where it's going to attach on the other side of the head. So it would probably be maybe somewhere around like there, if we were thinking about this as like a 3D object. So I'm going to wrap that around and imagine that it's hitting around this spot here. All right, and that's going to give a very subtle illusion excuse me, of it sitting on the head. You've got this straight line here, you've got this kind of like intersection right here, and then you've got the crossover T-line of the hat in the background. So it's really just a lot of those little things that's gonna make stuff sit and feel quote unquote correct. All right, first little warm up. Success, Olo Way Manuel. Beautiful analytical studies. Thank you very much. So next one. I like the motion in this. All right, there's a lot of things going, a lot of subtle things going on. It's a very long lens, right? So we're going to not have as an extreme sort of pushing of perspective. So, for example, if we were to do this as a cube, this cube would be honestly like quite flat, right? Barely any perspective, right? As opposed to poof, poof, like crazy perspective, right? Or even further, you could do like the whole fisheye thing, right? So because it's a long lens, we've got to rely on our understanding of things pushing back in space and giving the illusion of the in fronts and behinds. Right, so that's the game plan. So, for example, his arm going back in space, like that, but that arm could just be a cylinder, and then like another cylinder being foreshortened back in space, and then his hand back in space, and they're all like sort of stacked, one on top of another. That's what we're after, okay? That's the game plan. Good luck, everyone. Let me restart the timer. Let's do him over this way. Okay. I'll give everyone a minute to get themselves together. And then we will commence. Mariana. Hi, I'm new. What are we practicing? Great to have you, Mariana. Today we are practicing figure stuff, but in like a stylized way. So like translating the, what you call it? The reference into a more stylized kind of thing. If that makes sense. Hopefully it will make sense momentarily. All right. And if you do want to as well, the pinned link is up the top. So you can get the same references. Or choose your own. I reckon it'll be, honestly, be a good challenge. Choose your own. We're doing 15-minute warm-ups. Restart the timer. 15 minutes. Good luck, everybody. Let us commence. Okay. So, in front, behind, in front, behind. That's what I'm thinking about. First, I wouldn't mind just getting the torso feeling correct. All right, there's a big old twist here. And then this goes back. All right, head is forward, but also looking down. Not worried about the helmet for now. See, even this is you're getting the kind of idea, right? Going back, that way. All right, so this is twisting. We could throw a leg down here. We could then throw the calf there, the front leg out, because we've got to keep this balanced as well. So this leg's got to go all the way back. Here to keep him balanced. Right, now you can see here there's little clues as to what's going on with his foot. Right, so his foot is like kind of rolled in a way here. So we've got to take that into account. Now we've got a basis to play with, right? Let us play. So you got the chain going off in the background there. We've got this opportunity to just mess around. Make the hands like a bit larger. Bat going off. Now the head is still a 3D object, obviously. But we've got to think about that. We've got his little eye black on there. Won't worry about that because that's just a detail. It doesn't need to be worried about just yet, if at all. Flip it. You use straights versus curves for the limbs like Bruce Timm. I'm not familiar. I'm sure if I saw their work, I would know exactly who you're talking about. I'm very, like, I don't know. I say this a lot, but I'm very uncultured when it comes to the art space. I need to have more study with people. But if you showed me their work, I'll be like, oh yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. Car, hi Ben, first time chatter here. Welcome. Great to have you. Trying to get back into drawing, but whenever I try to draw / reference from other pictures, I just don't like the style. Should I relearn basics or find styles to reference? You don't like the style of what? The reference images that you're using? Or what it turns out like? I'm going to hesitate to guess that it's what it turns out like. He does Batman animated stuff. Oh, cool. Well, then I definitely know who you're talking about. But all these things here, at the moment... Oh yeah, that's why his name sounds familiar. Yeah, Joe. A style of whatever I draw, basically the end result. Okay, KA or car. I think a lot of it, well, one little tip. Question, what reference are you using? Are you using a photo, like we're doing here, to then try and stylize? Is that sort of what's going on? Because that'll give me some clues as to how I can best point you in the right direction. I actually like the simplicity of what I've got here. I almost don't want to add the details, but a wheel. I don't know how detailed I'm going to go, but I've only been looking at like character promo art or frames mostly of anime characters. Not the best, but I just wanted to see how rusty I was. You got to give yourself some time as well. You know, give yourself a little bit of leeway, because if you're getting back into it, right, it's going to take time. No doubt about it. So just embrace the frustration, because I've made friends with my frustration. No, I haven't. I still hate the bastard. But I've gotten used to that feeling of frustration, right? Because for whatever reason, there's this weird feeling whenever I try and attempt something, even something new that I've never done before. It's that feeling that, I should be better than this. But it's like, well, thinking logically, how often am I practicing it? 1, how often have I ever done it? 2, like, if both of those answers are, I haven't practiced in a while, and I haven't done it very much before, then there's no logical reason to get frustrated with it, you know? Mariana, sorry to change the subject just out of nowhere, but I need an artist's opinion. My boyfriend just got me an iPad and an Apple Pencil. He wants to support my art. What a bloody good guy. Hats off to him. But we just discovered that... Oh, you left me on a cliffhanger. What did you discover? But yeah, car, give yourself some leeway. Give yourself some relax. Okay? Apple Pencil, USB-C, and iPad A16 doesn't have pressure sensor. iPad A... Sorry. The iPad A16. What's an iPad? I'm sorry, I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the iPad A16. But it's compatible with the Apple Pencil. Have you looked up the specs? Nunez, how you doing? Good afternoon, night, depending on where you're at. How long will this class be? It's not a class. Why? It's just a hangout, really. Draw and chat. But we'll probably go for another hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. The A16 is the software. Oh, okay. Just do yourself a favor, get Procreate. Do yourself a favor, get Procreate, and all your hopes and dreams will come true. Not sponsored, but if you want something that just works, it is paid, but it's a one-time payment and it's worth it. I've had it for years and it's really not much for the value that you get out of it, So, yeah, pressure sensitivity, particularly if you're trying to get better at that sort of stuff, is very useful. Yeah, no need to be sorry. Light up the Spark Studio. What's going on? All right, let's think here. Let's think. Where can we make this better? Everywhere. Sarah, bloody bang on. Agreed. But easier said than done, mind you. Easier said than done. Lola Alvarez. Having trouble with heads. One, it depends on what style that you want. I recommend, and I wonder if many people are doing this, getting style reference of artists that you like. Having that next to you as you're drawing. All right. Because like that was one thing that really helped me as I was trying to figure this out. As I'm still trying to figure this out, is getting the style reference and having it even like on your phone, looking at it when you're waiting instead of scrolling Instagram, scrolling the TikTok, whatever. Just start feeding your brain with the styles that you enjoy. And just be looking at it a lot. You don't have to do it all the time, obviously. But get to know the shapes, I guess. That sounds kind of wanky, but you know what I mean. I hope. If your main concern is the stylization. Because you soon realize that There aren't any rules to any of this stuff. Which is bloody good fun. Thank you, Casey. You guys are right. Just what I need to hear and read. Yeah. Yeah, Mariana. You could probably download it now. Give it a whirl. Choose like a... I recommend maybe like the chalk brush. Personal favorite. And then, yeah, join along. All right, so we've got a few things happening here. I haven't bothered putting his helmet on yet, but I want to just reinforce, galvanize some, where's my color? Where's my color? Oh, now the bloody screen. Hold on. All right, what I'm, luminance lock off. What I'm seeing, okay? And if I'm honest, this could be a nice little thumbnail. So, shoulder. All right. So, oh, let's not go crazy with the hue shifts. Shoulder and arm pointing back in this direction. We could even like block this whole shape in as like one cone shape, you know? And because this is a long lens, you notice that I broke my rule, or what I said about this here. Right, because this was a, is the right word shorter lens? Shorter, I don't know. But it's a wider lens, I guess. Sometimes it depends on the model of the iPad as to how it works. And the newer Apple Pencil does not charge by USB. Yeah, but like if it is a true Apple Pencil, it would definitely have pressure sensitivity. I'm almost 1000% sure. Test it on the Notes app, because that's their own proprietary whatever. If it's got pressure sensitivity on the Notes app, then it should work. So yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. Here, if this was in a cube, and then we imagine the feet, this foot would be here and this foot would be there. The heels, they have some, like, and then should kind of be standing and looking away from us, right? What is that? But the heels go back in space, right? Here, because it's such a long lens, it's just, boom, pretty much on the same plane. But we got to take that into account with everything else as well. Chainhead, what's going on? Daniel Pace, welcome, welcome. Good morning. Appreciate you popping in, Chain. All right, so there's a few things to think about here, or that I'm thinking about. Just because, what am I trying to say? The head here, remember how I was saying here we're looking on top of the head if we imagine it as like a bucket, right? A cylinder, we're looking on top, we would see underneath that cylinder, right? But that could change if she tilts her head down. If she just tilted her head down a little bit, then we'd see the top of it. But the overall perspective, right? Imagine the ear here, and then the ear there. Imagine she just looked down at us, right? That then breaks this rule of looking up. So we've got to think about the whole figure in its entirety first. At least that's what I like to do. Take it with a grain of salt. You do what you want to do. But I like to think of the whole figure as in its entirety and then break it down into the smaller parts. So here, for example, this head. If this was a cylinder, all right, we would be looking down on top of that cylinder. All right. This leg, the subtleties of this leg is coming ever so slightly towards us. You know, we can probably change the color to make it a bit clearer. Right, this leg is kind of bowing ever so subtly inwards. Right, notice the curves. This curves that way, that curves that way. That's creating that illusion of the positioning of all this stuff. And this is kind of the only way I don't get like overwhelmed by all this. I have to break it down. Like in my head, I'm thinking about this. I'm not doing this with every drawing. I'm not going through and say, okay, the head is tilted down, blah, 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 blah. But in my head, I'm kind of like, all right, head tilt down, blah, 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 blah. Like, that helps me out a ton, just thinking about it like that. Bushra Safanama. My apologies for butchering your name. I'm learning to draw facial expressions using animation character sheet. Fantastic idea. Very, very good idea. But not referencing human faces. Is this approach effective? I thought if you're looking to do animation characters, absolutely awesome. Chainhead, your art style is so delicious. It tastes like gummy bears. Right, Chain, thank you. If you had to pick one exercise to focus on that helped you the most, what would it be? I would ask you to focus that question a little bit more. To focus on the thing that helped me the most to do what. All right? Because there's all these different aspects that help me, that have helped me do stuff. For example, with values, this squinting down, understanding the lights and the darks to then get something to look more realistic when you paint, you know. But then other exercises like doing like simplifying the skull, right, into the key parts that help me understand the skull. It helps me draw the skull, you know what I mean? And then helps me draw a head. So this helps me draw this. Right? So really the question isn't sort of like there's no one overarching thing that's helped. It's like a combination of things all trying to align to my goal of what I'm trying to achieve. Or like the style or the vibe, I guess you could say. The thing that helps you get better at shapes, value grouping. Well, shapes and value grouping are almost two separate things as well. But like value grouping would be, are you thinking about shapes in particular? What I think you're asking is shapes, because value grouping is something to do more particularly with painting values, like the lights and the darks of an image, right? Casey Snow art, shape language is so inspiring. Thank you, Casey. You're too kind. Mariana, is it working? Have we got pressure sensitivity? Don't leave us hanging. Let us know. So if we're talking about shape language, that's going to be getting the style references of artists that you like and starting to really understand why they're making the decisions that they're making instead of just blindly copying. Casey Snow, do you stream every Sunday? I do. This is my Monday because I'm in Australia. I'm living in the future. But yeah, same time every week. All right, let's go on to the next one. Ah, right, the future. Excellent. Mariana, we must know. Did it work? Thank you for taking your time. No worries. Sarah, what were some tips you'd give someone to help them translate anatomy to stylized anatomy? Hope my question makes sense. That does make sense. That's a very clear question. That's the thing. If you asking questions to anyone about their El Perez, thank you very much, about their process or anything, I reckon formulating the question in a way. The only reason I say this is because I get asked a lot of questions all the time, and I find myself struggling with the answer if it's such a broad question. But a focused question like this helped translate anatomy to stylized anatomy. That's getting down, and then you could go even smaller or more specific to how would you translate a realistic torso into a stylized, you know what I mean? But the more specific that you get with the question, I reckon the higher the value of the answer that you would get from anyone that you're asking questions about, whether it's art or whatever you're trying to learn, if that makes sense. Matthias, my apologies. How you doing? Great to have you. So is it spamming master studies from appealing artists? No. There's a subtlety with spamming master studies and getting a final result that you're happy with versus having a goal, right, that you're trying to get out of that master study, right? I don't know. Let's make it more illustrative. So you've got a goal of your master studies, right? There's studies, keyword, master studies. It's not a master, let's make something that looks really pretty and I can share on social media. Not saying that's what you do, but there could be a tendency to do that. They're master studies. What are you trying to get out of that, right? Not always. Sometimes you just want to draw just because you want to draw, right? That's fine. But if you're trying to get better at something, having a goal before you're going into the master study. For example, if you want to learn how, let's say, Lowish, for example. How does she get her figures to look so flowy, but also like structured? So what you would do is you get a bunch of her figures, right? Now you've got a goal. So once you've had the goal, you have an end result that you're trying to achieve instead of just like meandering and doing like a ton of master studies just to do them and feel like you're making progress, which you will do doing that. But having that goal in mind just gives you an end. Like it gets you the result that you're after. Well, like the learning that you're after, I guess. So yeah, I guess the key, without rambling on for a month of Sundays, study is the key word with master studies. Joseph, if you had to, how would you go about relearning line confidence? I'm trying to break out of that feathering look to my lines, and it's hard to consistently remind myself not to. Hayego Huta, what YouTube? I just type my name into YouTube and you'll find it. Line confidence. If you've done something more sketchy, say this is like more sketchy, for example, if it's digital, knock it back, right? Or if you want to be on the safer side and you don't want to ruin anything that you've done, if you like the look of your more sketchy lines, knock back the opacity. This is what I would do. Then I would get some style reference. For example, I've got a little bit of style reference here, like say from Kim Jong-gi, bloody legend. All right. I would make sure there's no transfer in the brush, meaning no lights and darks. Because here, if we did transfer, It allows me to get really like paint, like super light lines. Here, it forces me to be dark with my lines. And then what I'll do is I'd make a decision on the lines that I've already put down. Even changing the color of the underlying sketch. All right? And it can take some time. But then you can start to see, okay, if this is the style that I wanted to do, where is he putting his lines? Where are the most important lines? Right? And then you see, okay, the line weights. Where is he putting them? He's got some indication of some darker lines here. Why are all the darker lines kind of on the bottom of everything? You know, like there's a darker line under here, dark line here, dark line underneath here. Maybe this is an indication of shadow, and they sort of skinny up as it hits the light, right? Same with the helmet. It almost disappears up here on the helmet. That's study, right? Thun Guns, what's going on? Casey Snow, do you have any favorite book you'd recommend to get better understanding of shape language or even just character design in general? There's no one particular book, honestly. I mean, there's such a wealth of inspiration just on social media, you know? So with that learning, and with what I mentioned just there with the line work, we could do like the lighter lines here, then like knock that back and just test it out, you know? It might not work 100%. Or maybe it does work, you know? Like what? You're not going to know how it feels or when it feels right, when it works, without giving it a shot, you know? You have to go through really the crappy feeling of not drawing something good. Mariana will know, but using certain brushes in Procreate, I can get the tip or line art I want to get. Perfect. Studies must be done with intent in mind for maximum improvement. Thun Guns, but he said it better than I did. Poncho, week's been good. Been knocking out the course platform. Drea, I'm just going to keep saying it. Get it out there into the universe. It's not ready yet. It'll be ready soon. Artistic, welcome. I don't know if I said hello already, but hello again. By the way, I dare you to go absolutely wild with the shapes, proportions, and whatever you did. Oh, good call. I like it. I'm going to give that a shot. Let's go crazy with some proportions. And you know what? It could look terrible. And is that going to feel good? No. But that's fine. All right, so you see how I'm making these decisions with the line work? Lighter up top, darker on the bottom. And how did I come to that conclusion? Because I did a micro study of Kim Jung-gi's efforts here. You know, it doesn't look like Kim Jung-gi's by any stretch of the imagination. But you can start to understand the thinking. And he's got a lot of little describing lines here, the whisper lines, which I love. All right? Which we can introduce particularly in the folds here. You know, and then you can just keep going. Maybe that's like a darker, just like really solid line there, and then you just continue to follow that pattern of lighter on the top, darker on the bottom. All right, and this also helps with the illusion of the twist. His name on the back of his shirt. You know, even the number. All right. Yeah, I can just keep going with this. We're going to stop there. Next one. I feel like with studies, there is a difference between copying and studying. It's really key to navigate that well. 1000% agree. Got to get the bad drawings out, as I have to consistently remind myself. Yep, that's it. Got to get them out. All right, let's get another bit of reference. What are we thinking? I got this one because it was kind of a cool, like, balance that he's got here. So he's sort of like holding himself up with this leg while also leaning on the bike. Tricky. Let's see if we can push the shapes here. Just for thun guns. Joe, always love your line work, Ben. Even in sketches, still working on my heavy-handed drawing. Ah, appreciate it, Joe. But that could be your thing, though. Nothing wrong with heavy-handed. Okay, I've got to stop because I just want to keep playing with the line work. All right. New layer. Let's see if we can push these shapes. Restart the timer. Timer at this stage. More of a suggestion. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's see. Really push the shapes, can we? I might be even too tame. See, I'm kind of out of practice a little bit with just like drawing all the time. This is really the main time that I get to draw in the week. So again, thank you everyone for popping in your bloody legends. Give me an excuse to get some study in. I will be getting back into the swing of things, you know, very soon. But it's just now I got the course platform project on the go. So he's going to be like quite lanky. Creative enablers, I like it. Hardworking pilot, how you doing? Welcome. Have you done children's books before? And would you use a different style from this one? I haven't. And it depends what the children's book is asking for. You know what I mean? I guess it would really depend on the project. The vibe of the project is as to what you would use or what kind of style you'd use. Because that's the thing as well. If you're going to work for, say, like a studio or something like that, I'd imagine you would have to like learn how to do their style or their yeah, they're like in-house style, or at least understand it and then bring your own flavor to it and whatever. But again, it really depends on the project, right? Okay, let's have a look here. So I'm really trying to just like push the shapes like crazy, not getting, I don't care about likeness whatsoever. Not with this one. I do love a good little triangle forearm though. It's something that I can't get away from. All right, so we got the hand here. Good little triangle forearm. Can't beat it. Way too long though. Way too long. So we're gonna, when we're pushing the proportions this much, it's inevitable that everything's gonna be out of whack for a little while at least. Hardworking pilot, thanks mate. Trying to learn to paint like Marco Bucci. Bloody good goal. Nice fella, Marco. I figure that's the best style for kids' books, but it's so bloody difficult. Tell me about it. I love these streams. Keep it. I appreciate it, hardworking pilot. Thanks for popping in. Means a lot. I'm going to hesitate to guess that you're a fellow Aussie, potentially, or an Englishman. I only see that by the mate and the bloody. So it could go either way. All right, so let's see what we can do to... I mean, we could even push... Whoa, the heavens have opened up. Nuts. Or fulfill that streaming is somehow a nice accountability to actually study or draw. So easy to get caught up in all of the other non-drawing projects. Tell me about it. No, I appreciate you, Casey. Thank you for popping in. Let's move old mate baseball down a smidge. Now, because we've messed around with these proportions a lot, we need to make sure that everything feels right, because he's quite, I've made him quite tall because he's got like quite long limbs. Large hands. You'd go further. I know. As I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, this isn't. I don't think this is what Thunk Guns had in mind. I'm too tame. See my little version of I want it to look good is keeping me in. in a jail of realistic shapes. I'm in a creative prison. Ashlyn, how you going? How you doing? Now look at this lean here, right? We've got to counterbalance that. With this leg. Alright, even though it's very wooden at the moment, counterbalancing that helps a lot. Good thing Slenderman upgraded to a bicycle. What if he's like these like real chunky? That looks stupid. But maybe that's what we've got to do. Maybe that's what we've got to do. Lana. Welcome back. Oh, you're drawing for something for a contest. What contest is it? Best of luck. Alright, I think this is almost time to knock it back. And then refine. I think it's refine time. Ben, do you have any line work advice? I'm struggling. Also, get it with the... I appreciate you, Lana. I can see so much clearer now. These are a new addition. I've never worn glasses before. Think I probably won't win, but it's important to try stuff. 1000%. All right. Line work. We did talk about this briefly before you popped in, but for example here, just because it's line work doesn't mean it doesn't have a light source, okay? First thing to keep in mind. So, for example, if I want the light source to be coming from the top down, I would like to, one, get some line work reference, okay? Let's go back to this Kinjungi one that we used before. Right, all the lines that are on the bottom of something, oftentimes, not always, like not 1000% of the time, but oftentimes are darker. Right, so this ear, darker on the bottom, slowly curves up to the top. Okay, the top of his head might be super light, right, or thin, let's say. And as it comes down, darker on the bottom. So even here, this gives it some dimension. Just doing this. All right, is there a shadow in there of his eyeball? All right. I don't know what this dude is. He's a weird looking fella, but could even have the shadow with the ear there. So it, even just with these little changes, it's giving it some dimension, you know. Sketchy. Every time I watch your streams, it makes me want to open up Critter and doodle along, but I have to do work. So must be content watching and listening. Now, all good, Sketchy. All good. I appreciate you popping in anyway. So maybe this is a Slender Man. Maybe we do. But I don't think the Slender Man has any facial features, but this one does. Aniki, I do. Links in the description for the Discord. Why are you making lasagna? I ask myself that often. Now this is where a little bit of anatomy comes in. Not super important, but just thinking about how this arm would work, you know? If you had this like massive forearm, this is going to be lower, this is going to be squished up higher. Maybe. So thicker lines for shadows. Got it. Yeah, but even if it's not like casting a shadow. So for example, underneath here, I might add this as like a little bit of a darker line. Right? Underneath the head. It's not casting a shadow so much. Like oftentimes you think of shadows, they're like cast shadows. But it's almost like the line has a shadow. Potentially, in a way, you know? I've been watching Lois tutorials all week. I'm probably never going to be as good as her. Not with that attitude, Lana. Not with that attitude. We got to get you. You got to flip that up. Flip it around. I will turn the stream around with that attitude. But she's had a lot of practice to exactly. So even the handlebars here, perspective. Chains are a pain in the ass, but that's okay for now. Ben put streams in reverse. I just start undoing everything. All because of Lana's negative attitude. Why not think about, like, what if you do get as good as her? If not better, in your own way. Whatever that means, you know? What does that look like? I mean, better is subjective, right? But what have you done? It's all your fault, Lana. Good. No, you delete that last thing. That message. It's a bannable offense. I want to see that maybe disappear. Legend. I've noticed that many art gods have done animation. Is that the secret? You got to be bloody good at drawing to animate. So it's almost like you've got to be unbelievable at drawing, and that's table stakes. That's like at a base level. So yeah. Lenny, what's going on? Welcome back. How's YouTube been treating you? Yeah, doing good, doing good. Nice one. Okay, let's find this tire. Found this one. Scoot this one back in space. Scoot this one back in space. It is kind of tilted. Alright, so we got to take that into account. So that comes back there maybe. And this goes back here. Find that tire. See, that kind of grounds it a little bit more. Look at those monster calves. Got to start biking. Yeah. Oh, it's a weakness of mine. I've got little chicken leg calves. It's genetics. Can't get around it. I'm 6'4", so it also just not a great look either. It's just like. But I've been training him recently. Not giving up. His face needs to look way more annoying. How do we do that? What's going on, Sam? Guys wearing glass. Yep, new addition. So yeah, it turns out, so I've got astigmatism, which I didn't know what that was. But now I do. So basically, I think it's like something like my eyeballs are oblong shaped, or they're not like circular. A lot of you will probably have the similar thing. It's not rare, I don't think, but yeah, I didn't realize how bad it was until the optometrist, like, you know how you do the test? You've got like A, D, Z, V, blah, 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 blah. And like it goes smaller and then smaller. He's like, okay, what's the top line? I'm like Z, blah, 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 blah. So it was just, it's something about the, like the eye. I can't remember if it was this, but it's how the light goes in. If your eye's allowing light in correctly, it comes to like a central spot. But because I think it's this part is like kind of weird, or maybe something's weird where the light will come in and hit different spots of the eyeball. And now this is not anatomically correct, but something's happening there where it's coming in and it's like hitting all different spots instead of sort of focusing on the one. So that makes it like stuff quite blurry. So yeah, now I can see a lot better, which is great. My partner and I, we play Fortnite to unwind in the evenings. I've been smashing it. I can see him from a mile away. You think it might have changed shape over the years? Apparently, it's not something that you develop. Like, it's not because I've been in on the computer for so long. So it's not. I don't think it's something that I've developed from doing this. It's just like a thing that happens as you age. I've never worn glasses, never needed glasses in the past, but it's just another opportunity to accessorize. I think he looks kind of smiley in the ref. Yeah, I'm not going for the ref at all. I mean, we could make him look a little bit more smiley if we wanted. We just... It's kind of odd. Just like... Maybe that's even scarier. He's like, what are you smiling at? Very subtle. Catch you later, Joseph. I have this cone form on my cornea. Yeah, right. I appreciate you, Carlos. Welcome to the smudgy family. Yeah, it's great. I get, like, they're not terrible. Like, the site isn't terrible. But I guess I could use it for, like, the value checking. It's not that bad, though. It's more for, like, words and stuff. What a murder eyes. Like, that? This syndrome could get worse if you don't use glasses. Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, my optometrist was telling me, he was just like, I was like, all right, so is this going to get worse over time? And he was like, no one knows. It may do, it may not. Arc. Hey, did you code Filthy yourself? No, I coded it with a mate of mine. He did all the, like, he cleaned it up a lot. I did the first prototype. And then Francis, some of you may know him, bloody legend. He's helping me with Drea. Helping me. We're doing it together. He's doing a lot of the shit. I'm like a junior developer and he's the senior. So he did a lot of the luminance lock logic, which uses it's not brightness. We couldn't use brightness. It is like a perceived brightness or a perceived luminance value that you've got to calculate in a bloody weird way. ARC is worth giving it a shot. It's good fun because then you can like tweak it to exactly how you want to use it. My teacher didn't use glasses, so he can't see clearly. Yeah, right, okay. He's good as an illustrator. He is good even not seeing writing. Yeah, okay. All right, well, I'll be wearing these glasses all the time. I've got to update my, like, now I do self-portraits with, like, my avatar and stuff. I've got to add glasses to them now. So as a student of Ben Eblin's School of Learning, I've recently started studying by creating a huge canvas and just following tangents, trying to do references in different poses and perspective. It's good fun, isn't it? I like to think blurry vision forces you to draw the general shapes first. Yeah. You're not wrong, Joe. I can see clearly now. Oh, Christ. Thank God. Very good, Thumb Guns. That's it. Don't have to squint. Just, that's it. Just take the glasses off. Beautiful. Hard work and palette. Oh, you silly bugger. Do you think you'll make any more videos, or are you just going to keep streaming? Oh, no, it's going to be, there's going to be Video City. It's going to be unbelievable, the videos. Just the volume of videos that are going to be put out. you're not going to believe. I actually like him. Kind of ominous. With like the no eyes. But yeah, no, it's... The plan is get this course platform to a point where I'm using it on the daily. Right? Almost there with it. I mean, I'm using it daily, but to then like release it out to like other creators. Then every sort of YouTube video is going to be mentioning that. So from like a business standpoint, it makes sense to have the course platform done, so then I can promote any courses that I put onto it, and it kind of does double duty as well, that I'll be able to mention the platform that it's on. So that's the goal. It's just, yeah, getting that ready for prime time. I feel cursed to have perfect vision. Squinting doesn't really blur my vision. Interesting. I like a bit of a soft hue. When I got glasses, I was like, is that what everything... I did notice that driving, everything's so shiny. Everything's like, oh. Going to the gym, all the like the metal and everything, it's just like, all right, calm down. Well then, can't wait. When are you planning to put them out? No set dates at the moment, but it's got to be at a consistent cadence. I would like to do one every 2 weeks on like a good cadence. That'd be good. We'll see how we go. Oh, Sam, you've been going back to the old ones. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, no, it is cool having that documentation of the past, although it's not been that long. Oh, also, I should mention, are any of you familiar with, oh, fuck. What's his name? Oh. Neville Page. Are you guys fans of Neville? Because I've been chatting to him. I had a chat to him, and he's got a Kickstarter going on, almost funded. Right, he's worked on some of your favorite stuff. Right. So he's coming out with this book, Beauty and the Beast. Got to hit the backer goal if you're interested in it. Worth checking out, definitely. Creature designer, yep, definitely. Lovely fella as well, really nice. So I'll add this as a link if you are interested. Neville Page, yep. But yeah, so it's a got to be a book. So it's a book called Beauty in the Beast. Yeah.
Page. To the business of feedback. Act 2, which tackles the business of staying relevant.
Because I think he made the
and what we all know is an ever-changing industry. My goal is of this campaign.
The Banshee, in Avatar, he was a timeless creature designer for that. So reference. Yeah, if that's something you're interested in, go check out Neville. He's also going to be more active on social media as well, which is going to be cool. He's also, I think he's also, have you guys seen Face Off on Netflix? He's one of the judges on that as well. Yeah, cool dude, cool project. Okay. I'll be back. Tell him to stream. Yeah, I'd like to get him to stream. That'll be cool. I'll be back momentarily. Uno momento, por favor. Just grabbing a coffee. Be back in a sec. Casey, don't know if you have any. I'll tell you. Yeah, I think Neville's actually going to be on Procreate. Maybe, maybe not, but maybe. I don't know if I was meant to say that. Oh, I don't see why not. Maybe. Could be. Yeah. He said it'd be cool to get to see what he's working on. Don't know if you have any bot protection set up on Twitch, but if you haven't, I highly recommend Seri Bot, free, and you install it from their Twitch page. Protects from spam. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Casey. Coffee, nice and perfect. Nice and perfect for me. I just do the instant, freeze dried, black coffee. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't do it for the taste, do it for the feeling. Oh. Okay. Let's continue this little fella. We're just gonna cruise into the later stages of the stream, just knocking out bits and pieces of the line work. Perfect cozy time, sketching and coffee, you know it. Catch you later, Casey. Lovely to have you. Thank you for the tips with Twitch. My pleasure. I'll catch you in the next one. So here I'm trying to find that minor axis to get. Oh, I can do that non-ironically now. Actually, we're trying to find the minor axis of this ellipse. For the whatever this is called, the axle, maybe. Find that tire. I might just do that like a flat. Just a flat black filled in shape. Maybe keep it on the skinnier side. Oh, you did the long scroll to the bottom of Instagram. Yeah, that's as I said, I was doing a lot of realism. That was my main thing I was doing. And I just got bored of it. Really, because I wanted more of a challenge instead of just like copying the reference, you know. I wanted to figure out how these people just come up with these worlds and these characters out of seemingly nothing, but also have it look like someone. Like, it just confused the crap out of me for the longest time. So it's really not been that long that I've been doing the stylized stuff, you know? Fun guns. I appreciate it, Lenny. Sklette. Do you draw on Procreate sometimes? I do. Highly recommend the chalk brush. By the way, when you did realism studies, did you understand the forms you were drawing or just copying the values one to one? I was just copying the values one to one. I just got good at pattern recognition and like getting the values down, which for this stuff is only one part of the puzzle. It's a great exercise, really, really good. Maybe what's the time? Maybe we attempt a little realism study, maybe a little realism value study, just for, I don't know, something to cruise into the end of the stream with, switch it up a bit. I'm liking this, what we've managed to do here. What tips would you have for someone who wants to grow on social media but doesn't enjoy creating video content? I would start looking for others on the platform that you're trying to do. I'm assuming Instagram, because that's really the only other platform, Instagram or Twitter, that doesn't have video or that doesn't have to have video content, and seeing who's performing well and look at their strategies, like, and see if they've not done any reels, because I think the reality is video content is gonna be where it's at to get your stuff seen, at least at the moment, because we know that all these platforms, they change, their incentives change, this and that, you know. Or find your version of video content. It might not be face to camera. It might be something completely different. It might just be voiceover. That works. You know, it's just got to be compelling. It's got to be interesting. Got to be different. Give the person, like, people always talk about algorithms and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's people. People are on the other end of that screen. The algorithm's only pushing stuff that people are watching. You know, or that people are willing to stop and stay on for a certain period of time. So I would start to look at that, see if you can find people that haven't done video content, or find out a way that you do video content that works for you, with your personality type, with your way of communicating, etc., etc. That makes sense. How did you grow? My vids don't really seem to be going anywhere. Well, I built up a bit of a following on Instagram. Are you promoting Lenny, are you promoting your videos on other platforms? Are you chopping them up into shorts? If not, I'd recommend doing that. I'd also look at studying, whether it's art or whatever, as a goal, as an outcome that we're trying to achieve. Studying other videos, comparing it to your videos, and seeing where not necessarily from like the production quality, but the topic, the interest, how someone introduces a topic, introduces the video that they're trying to get you to keep watching, essentially. What does that look like? What does the first 20 seconds look like? And you could break it down. You can say, okay, they introduce it at a high level here. They outline the problem that they've had within the first 10 to 15 seconds, and then they show a sneak preview of the end result. But then videos, there's many different types of videos. You just got purely entertainment videos. You've got more educational ones. You've got more like vloggy, like look what I'm doing, here's the project that I'm working on kind of videos. So you've really got to like, I don't know, I love going deep into this. I can't wait to get back into the thick of it and really studying this stuff. Because it is a study. It's not like, the video is just going to hit and awesome. Because you could have a video hit, you don't know why, and then that's it. You know what I mean? Not that's it forever, but it's like, all right, well, if you haven't learnt anything as to why that video hit and it was just pure luck, if it's not reproducible, it's kind of, at least to me, there's no value for it to me. So yeah, think of it as a study. It does, doesn't it? Fun guns. People that I've seen grow a lot often post a lot too when they're starting. Yeah, I would be careful of that. Of feeling like you have to post a lot, because I thought that for a while. And then I almost burnt myself out. And then the quality dropped, at least in my view. And yeah, it was just not a good time. So until you've almost got to work up to a cadence of like posting every day or every other day, if that's your goal. Like you've almost got to acclimatize to the workload instead of being like, all right, this week I want to do it every day. And then you miss a day and then you feel like you failed and then the posts aren't doing well and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, it's just a fucking nightmare. So I'd take it slow, build up to that cadence. And if that's what you want to do, I don't think it's necessarily necessary to post every single day. It's good, but it's not necessary, I don't think. I would focus more on quality. But again, if you haven't done much and you don't understand what quality means for your audience yet, then it could be more, there be more of an argument to just post more on a consistent basis to start to understand where your stuff's clicking, where it's not, and think of each piece of content like a data point, like an experiment, like a mini experiment. No judgment on how it performs, how this or that. Mini experiments, you know. Lol Riz Productions. Ben, it's 6 a.m. Why are you streaming so late? Because it's 12:44 p.m. where I'm at. 6 a.m. is clearly the universal time. Where is the center of the universe, might I ask? Where are you chatting from? But yeah, I can't wait to get the podcast back up and running with Francis, because talking about that stuff and being in it and experimenting and testing stuff out, so much fun. Because the first YouTube video that I did, it was not a let's throw this together quickly and see how it goes. It, catch you later, Sharon. You have a good one, yeah? Marlon. Nah, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Hi Ben, can't stay. Just wanted to mention I found another cool animation app for the iPad called Toon Squid, and it's half the price of Procreate Dreams. Also, side profile. Legend. Make side profile a thing. I like it. Hope you've been well, my friend. But the videos that I've put out, they're not like, let's throw them together quickly. There was weeks and weeks and weeks of preparation for that. You too, man. Weeks of preparation. So it wasn't like an accident per se of like, okay, my first YouTube video just like popped. I did have a bit of a following on Instagram, and I did consult with a lot of people, sent them test ones. I was going back and forth with Christian. I think I was going back and forth with Christian at that point on like the hook, like how to present it. I had a ton of reference of other people's videos, how and why I liked them, not just from a stylistic point or like the technical standpoint of like the audio or the video, but the actual content. At what point did they cut to certain sections? At what point did they cut to a time lapse of them working on the thing? At what point did they mention their promotional stuff? Or what, you know what I mean? So you can like really nerd out on this stuff, which I love doing. I think it's fun. Some people think it's like a chore, like the social media stuff. I don't know. I think if you can have a healthy relationship with it from the standpoint of like it's a game and a lot of it is an experiment, and some things will work and some things won't, and couple that with it being a business, it just makes it all the more fun, you know, because there's real incentive to like understand this stuff. And I think it potentially could make you a better communicator as well. Yeah, so those of you looking to try out animation, yeah, Toon Squid apparently is good. I'll trust Super on that recommendation for sure. We'll be on. I want to see the whole live show, but I have to get up. Nah, you're good. We're coming to a conclusion fairly soon, so you're not going to miss much. It's really just me blabbing on about whatever. I'm not going to say you got Wolby. You got to prioritize your sleep. Catch you later, Joe. So yeah, plugs. Quick plugs. If you like this stylized stuff, check the links in the description. I've got an 8-hour 10-chapter walkthrough tutorial available right now. Comes with a 40-page PDF field guide and some 3D models for you to learn from. It's my one and only educational product currently. That and the one, it's the same one that's on Proco. But with Proco, if you do want to get it on Proco, they got a sale coming up now, I think, as well. You get an extended 2-hour head turnaround demo. Filthy plugin. This guy here. If you want to fill in shapes, whoop, hold on, let's try that again. If you want to fill in shapes like it's nothing, just bam, bam, bam. What if the single color is boring? What if you want multicolors, but you don't want to come to the color wheel. You don't want to have to go, okay, Let's then pick another one. And let's pick another color. Okay, let's pick... No, you want color variation and you want it quick. Whip on that hue shifts. And you look one after another. Do you want it more crazy? We'll span the whole bloody rainbow if you want. Oh no, am I doing this? Oh no! No! I got too excited about Filthy and I did it all over my line work. Come on. Oh well, it is what it is. Back to promo mode. If you want it to span the whole bloody rainbow, you can do that. But if you want it to be more subtle, alright, you can do that as well. If by chance you want to keep it within a certain value range, you can do that. Because we all know the values are the key to everything. So let's say we have this medium gray color, but we want to add color variation at that same value or a very similar value. Let's turn on luminance lock. We've got hue variations. We can then span the whole bloody rainbow if we want, but it's going to stay within that value range. We can test it, go black and white, close enough to the value range. Never going to be perfect, but it's a quick way to get your color variations exactly how you want it. There we go. You want to change the luminance lock value, select another color, and now it's going to sit within that value range. Boom. All right. And I think that's all my plugs. You know where to find me. All the links in the description and whatnot. Look out for Drea coming soon. New course platform that I'm building with my good friend Francis. Been knocking out so much stuff with it. It's been unbelievable. You'll be the first people to know when it's there. If you're a content creator and you want a new way of displaying your educational content, reach out and get you when it's ready, get you on the list for testing out the alpha. Because I'm going to be using it for all of my stuff moving forward. Because I want freedom with the way that I structure my course content, where I couldn't find anywhere else. But more on that at a later date. Catch you later, Lenny. Frankiero wannabe. I haven't drawn in months because of burnout, but this live helped me finally do it. Bloody legend. Good stuff. Nice one. Marlon, intentare dibujar la misma referencia en lo que quiera de stream. Okay, I'm gonna guess. Don't tell me what they said. Don't tell me what you said, Marlon. Something about you. Where do I find the references for the stream? Maybe. Thank you, Artistic. Can anyone confirm that? I wonder if I can confirm that. Intentare dibujar. How do you say dibujar? It's not dibujar. Intentare dibujar la misma referencia en lo que quiera de stream. Okay. Let's see if we can. I've still got to figure out my Spanish voice. It changes. Abstract Ronin, Pinterest. Yes. Correct. Translate. It's not German. Ah, damn. Nah. She's going to try to draw the same reference for what? Last of the stream. Okay. Oh, well, that's okay. I saw referencia and I saw reference. Stefan, what's going on? Yeah, things are good. Things are good. How you been? Surviving the rain, yep. Yeah, it's been bucketing down recently. Quite like it. My Spanish is actually pretty good. Oh, thank you, Mariana. Pronuncias genial. Genial. Give me something else to say. I want to got to practice before the end of stream. I want to slowly learn Spanish. I want to get my pronunciation good. I'm also trusting you blindly that what I'm saying isn't something naughty. These chains are a pain in the ass. Hard working pilot. Holy shit. You know what? I'd recommend. Just draw, like if you're too tired at night. I have this issue. You're too tired at night, but you said you're going to draw every night or whatever, right? I reckon you should just draw one small thing. One small thing. Even if it's just this, right? Just like get the side, like the side of a head. Right, draw a nose. Okay. Doing something as small as this is better than not doing it at all, you know? G for us, like he. So this, genial, it spells genial. Ah, okay. All right, genial. Genial. And genial, sorry, not genial is good. Pronuncias genial. Genial. Just draw anything. Hard working pilot. Because some nights when I was on my kick of doing pen and ink stuff in a sketchbook, I just could. So then I just sat and I just, all right, even just draw a bloody cube. Draw a cube. Yo necesito Duolingo Español. I need Duolingo to speak Spanish. Don't think about it. What? Duolingo may help. I'm sure it would. But this is more fun. Stephen, how do you get over feeling crap about the sketches and drawings? I've tried and still don't get the satisfaction here and there. Yeah, it's a part of the... We talked about this earlier. It's a part of the deal. If you're going to do this creative stuff, it's that's that feeling you got to get used to. You got to make friends with it. It's going to be that annoying friend that you've just like known forever. And it is what it is. A sketchbook tour will be awesome. I've not got much of a sketchbook, if I'm honest. Like, this is the sort of stuff I'm talking about with like traditional. This is like a little Karl Kopinski pen and inky kind of thing in amongst like notes and whatever. But yeah. I'm in 3D, so it's a little more forgiving, but sketching and painting is still my weakest. Yeah, but honestly, I reckon apart from just like, oh, deal with it, when you're sitting down to draw something, really, yeah, think about that goal. I think we were talking about this earlier. Think about that goal of what you're trying to achieve. Because I can find sometimes if I'm just sitting down and I'm just like meandering and I'm just kind of like drawing whatever, there's no like end goal necessarily, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. But if you're looking to get better, maybe getting some style reference and seeing like, okay, if for example you like the look of this head, okay, breaking that down into something more manageable to start with. You know? So okay, cool. So then he's got the nose here that's kind of like a straight, and then this is kind of that like really breaking it down as an exercise. I think it could be super helpful. Instead of trying to get something to look good, understand why it looks good, and that's going to help it to look good, if that makes any sense at all. Ever heard of saying you're not your thoughts? Yes, I like that saying. Lana, okay, I'm about to start color. Do you have any last minute color tips for me? Values are more important than color. More important is not the right phrasing. Get your values right and understand the light source, and you have a lot more easier. You'll have a better time with colors. Oh no, not values. Not the light source. I recommend, Lana, if you can, if you have a computer that can handle it, Blender, for the light source in particular, get Blender. Or on the iPad, get a 3D software, something that you can like throw a sphere in and light it, you know? You can then use that as a reference, particularly if you're inventing this thing that you're drawing, right? I love values, was well worth learning. They are my favorite. So for starting in anatomy, I start drawing skulls and forms. What's your main goal? What do you want to do? That's before like even talking about anatomy, because you're starting to get into it, right? What do you want to do first? Because you can, at least I used to get into that feeling of like, all right, there's this checklist of things that I have to do before I'm quote unquote good enough to then do the thing that I actually want to do. You know, and I just don't think that's true. I would almost focus, if you are getting into it, like I can't remember if you said you were starting out or not, so forgive me. I would get really, really good at being able to draw cubes and cylinders and spheres at any angle that you can imagine. Reason being, as soon as you've got this down, you've then got the tools. This is one of the tools that unlocks so many other possibilities, and it can make it a lot more enjoyable to learn all these other things like anatomy, composition, posing, figure, like gesture, all that sort of stuff, even like mechanical, cars, blah, 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 blah. This unlocks all of this. Now, does this mean that you should only draw the cubes and the cylinders and the rectangles and the spheres and all that kind of stuff? No. But I would have a focus on this if you aren't already proficient in it, right? Experiment with anatomy. If you want to learn how to do like the torso, right? Understand where the rib cage is and how the head fits into the rib cage and blah, 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 blah. And like, this is a very stretched out kind of thing, but yeah, by all means, go and do that. But for me to be able to do this from imagination, if that's even your goal, you might not want to. But from imagination, it's first understanding that this is like an oblong kind of sphere. The rib cage, right? It's knowing that, okay, I can actually fit the pelvis into this kind of box shape if I want to. Or I could start manipulating it to be more of a naturalistic pelvis shape, right, where the spine comes out. This is ultimate freedom. What I reckon, like, once you unlock this, it's game on. You know, I was going to say game over, but really it's game on. Right? My actual goal is to be proud of drawing a cool anime techno girl with a cool color render. But since college, I haven't studied anatomy, so I'm again starting with my baby steps. I would recommend doing a first version of that. You know, draw, like, if it's anime that you're looking for, draw a bunch of anime. Right? Look at artists that are drawing anime. And I recommend looking at realistic anatomy. I mean, I can't even think of anime at the moment, how to draw it. But, like, that's the thing. Always have a reference with you as well, I reckon. Have style reference next to you of what your goals are, or like your North Star style-wise is going to be. It's going to help a lot. Probably add anatomy to that, and you got all the basic fundamentals. I'll stay. Yeah. But then what does it, like? I don't know the names of all the bones. I just know that if I want to draw a knee, I can simplify this down into a couple of cylinders. You know, without this understanding, you're at such a disadvantage. You know? I half hate you're always on when I come back from a night out. I appreciate you, Ross. Thanks for popping in. Hope you had a good night. So, Caro, when I do digital painting, why is it always pixelated or muddy looking? It depends. Pixelated and muddy, they're two different things, I guess. Pixelated would be the resolution of the screen. I would get a larger canvas and go from there. All right, so things look a little bit crisper. Muddy looking could be many things. Are you talking about painting with color, or are you talking about values? Your values are looking a little bit muddier. It's really hard to tell just through text, unfortunately. Stephen, I have a good one now that Pinterest is getting flooded with AI images. What is an alternative website you may know of? Honestly, when I'm on Pinterest, I haven't had too much of an issue because I've used, like, I don't know if you can copy my boards, but like, I'll just go, for example, traditional pen and ink, let's say, this one. I'll go more ideas. And it just shows me, like, yeah, that's sick. That's Karl Kopinski. That's a real one. Yep. Like, yep, that's a real one. I mean, I don't even know if there's an AR one in this section here. You know? So utilizing the more ideas tab as you start to find art from real people really, really does help. Using Procreate to render and draw and color, it's when I render and color it looks muddy. Okay, that's a deeper issue with, like, it's really hard to tell without seeing your work. But one thing, I mean, I honestly don't feel confident giving you any advice because I can't see your work, because I might send you off into a different direction. But let's say I'm going to hesitate and guess that when I'm going to ask a question. Do you blend a lot? Yeah, that's a good question as well, abstract. I was getting there, but there could be a deeper issue. When you're coloring, do you blend? Do you use a smudge tool? Do you use the airbrush to make the colors go into one another? I'm Carlito. AR ruined Pinterest. Mine's been fun. See, mine hasn't. I don't know why. Like, you can see it here. Go here, traditional pen and ink, more ideas. Karl Kopinski, awesome. I think this is Ken Jung-gi, potentially. No, this is someone else. But that's real. Karl Kopinski again. More, this is sick. That's real. This is real. This is real. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to mine, if you're starting off, mine for the real stuff and then use the more ideas. That's my technique. Abstract, yeah, we're thinking the same, yeah. Sakara, it's fine. I use the blending, the blending tool. Okay. So I think that could be your first issue. Well, not because it's not the tool that's the issue. It's potentially the reliance on it. What I would, as a quick tip before we head off, I want you to give it a shot of, let's say we've got, I don't know, what are we doing here? So let's say we have, don't even worry about color or anything. Let's say we've got this like ribbon. Let's just call it a ribbon. Instead of getting the blend tool and the blend brush and imagining there's a light source on top and like blending it all down like this, right? I want, so you can get the smudge tool and smudge it all out, right? Instead of doing something like that, then we would also have our other underside of the ribbon. Okay, instead of doing that, I would like, just get a brush of sorts, a hard edged brush, right? No opacity, no nothing. And I want you to see if you can stair step those values down. Now let's say you've just got this one purple color, right? When you do that, I don't want you to just grab the brightness and go down and go down and go down and go down and go down. Because notice what you're doing, what happens there. You start at maybe like this kind of purple even, right? As you just use the brightness, it takes it down into the grays and it can give it that muddy appearance. What I'd recommend you do is you manually select the next color, but instead of coming down this way, right, come down this way, a little bit more saturated. All right, then get that in between color. And no smudge tool. Just as an exercise. It's not like a no smudge tool forever. And this way you can slowly, slowly, slowly make this feel like a smoother gradient. Just with these stair step kind of brush strokes. And it's going to be frustrating because you might be used to it looking a certain way. And this is going to help with separating out the transitions, because that could be an issue. It could just be you're not separating out the lights and the darks correctly, which could make things look muddy. Then I would recommend you giving it a shot with skewing it. Don't have to go too crazy, but around the circle here. Let's see if we can make this a little bit more on the bluer side. Right, just play. I would test back and forth with black and white to see how the values are feeling. But I would just start shifting the hues while keeping the values in check. Right, so going back and forth between black and white. You can do that by taking a photo with your phone and turning it to desaturated mode. You could add a layer mode on top and just desaturate it, or you can choose the layer itself and just move the saturation all the way down. Right, and yes, it does. This works for everything. Okay, it's a very vague little exercise because I haven't seen your work, but this is where you get that more of that color in the skin. Okay, but the values still hold up, because then you can come here, if we can even push it towards that value there, we can still have it look correct because it's in the values, in the right value range, sorry. But we've just been able to pump that shadow fall off color while still keeping it in the correct value range, you know what I mean? And you can go crazy with it. You can come up here and try and find the same value. All right, it's probably going to look a bit weird, but this is why doing it manually and trying to find that in between, the in between values and that kind of stuff, you start to get color variation. Right, hopefully that makes sense. Oh, the struggles before the digital age, spoken as an old head. Hopefully that makes sense, Sakaro. But again, it's just a little demo to give you an idea that you can, there's more than one way to just adding black or white to any of these, you know, any of these transitions when you're trying to get things to look darker and lighter. Right, that looks shiny-ish. Ishan, how many hours will you be streaming? Probably another no more hours. I'm going to head off in a sec. My apologies. I have a love-hate with AI. It's good for the brainstorm and for artists, but at the other end, a non-artist takes from using it. It could be... Yeah, it's a weird one. It is a bloody weird one. But look, guys, with that, I had a lot of fun doing some line work. This is just what I needed. I wanted to stretch my line work muscles. Started off with this lady. Then went on to this baseball dude. right? Based on these references. Good bit of fun finding the twisting forms. I think this is, yeah, this is what I was thinking about. And then this fella, which was good. Shout out Thumb Guns for wanting to push the shapes a lot more. Ben, will you do a portfolio review one day? Maybe. I don't know about portfolio review. I can see myself doing critiques and stuff. Portfolio review, I've never made a portfolio for this. So I don't think I'd be confident to just give my opinions because I've not had a quote unquote successful portfolio acceptance because I've never given a portfolio, if that makes sense. Ishan, since when did you start using glasses? This week. Or last week, actually. Got my eyes tested, and I need them. No worries. Sorcaro. Pushing more. Oh, no. I should have. We will. Man, just got my first pen display. No idea where to start. Any link to a beginner content? Honestly, YouTube. Check out YouTube. See what resonates with you. All right. With that, thank you very much, everyone. For those in chat, you bloody legends. Chatting away, having a good little chin wag. For those that didn't chat, still bloody legends. Thanks for popping in. It's always an absolute pleasure and a privilege to come here every week, 10:45 a.m. Australian Central Standard Time, Sunday 4:30 p.m. PST. We're living in the future here in Australia. Yeah, every week, coming to stream, great fun, learning a lot, chatting a lot, having a great time. And with that, I reckon I'll catch you in the next one. Have I considered laser surgery? Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good with glasses. Keep the lasers away from my eyes. Rafa Valley, thank you. Thanks for popping in. Mariana, great to have you. Welcome. Had a couple of first timers this stream, which was good. Ross, catch you later. Abstract, Ishan, Marlon. Gracias, Ben. Bonita semana. Don't know what I just said, but I'll catch ya in the next one.